Hey, I'm back in my shop, and I was going to share. I was doing some wire repair, electrical, um, not for the house, for lawnmower, and I got thinking this might be something that would be worth sharing on a video, mainly because there's just a lot of. I'm gonna just strictly talk butt connectors today. Um, there's a lot of different versions of them out there, so I was gonna give you my recommendations, and with that, I guess I'll just start with the ones I strongly recommend not to use, and that's the duller looking solid, non-transparent vinyl ones. You see them everywhere. They're inexpensive, and that's why they're popular, and they'd be okay for, not much in my opinion. I'd much rather spend 25-30% more and get the better ones that are out there, which lead to the nylon ones. They're more transparent, and they'll last a lot longer in the elements. But as far as a butt connector, it's better than this one here, but it's not the best out there right now. But I would recommend it over that. There's some disadvantages with the regular butt connector. One, if you don't get a good crimp, the wires could pull loose, and they're not weather tight, water resistant. So I would strongly recommend jumping up and spending a little more money for the better ones that are available now. Just as part of this video, I will talk a little bit about the non-insulated terminals. I sell more of these to industrial accounts, but once again, you can obviously tell that you got more work to do with these because you got to make sure that they're insulated when you're done with them. But a lot of my really adamant electricians out there, and they just like these better than those. They can make sure they got a good crimp. A lot of times you can put solder on the ends of them, and then you can electrical tape or heat shrink tubing over them. Just more detailed, but I did want to show them to you. The true old school people out there, they will stick strictly to solder and a soldering gun and get a real good connection, a real, tight connection, and then they have a choice of. Normally, then they would definitely use heat shrink tubing because that's the best thing available right now. But just it's time consuming, and it's precision. So you have, I would recommend staying away from that unless you're just into that type, that type of thing. Solder is the way to go, though. So with that, it's been, over 10, 15, at least 15, 20 years ago, I think, when they came out with these. There were a heat shrink tubing with a solder ring in them, and they're really nice, especially at the time that they came out. But they had some disadvantages with them. One, you needed more than two hands normally to do the job, because as you're sticking the wire in this side here and trying to get the wire in the other side and getting it lined up, making sure that it stays connected, and somehow with all that going on, get a hold of your heat gun and shrink it. It was just, I still have customers that use them. They swear by them. They want to use them, but I sell very little of them anymore. But once again, the solder is where things were going to go. These were at the time pretty expensive compared to the traditional one. Then they came out with the Crimp and seal, which are nice because you crimp one side of it, then you didn't have to have three hands to do the job. So once again, you're back to traditional butt connector, where these you had to make sure the actual strands of the wire were intermixed in the center. This crimp this side, crimp that side, heat seal it. The good ones, I was going to point this out, if it's not transparent, they're not as good. the clearer they are, the better terminal they are. And these here actually have glue in them, so when you melt them, you'll even get a bead right on the end, and it really makes them watertight and strong. So I strongly recommend these. They've come up in price a lot, especially since COVID. But I still strongly recommend them because, once again, if you're using a butt connector, 9 times out of 10, it's in a place that you don't want to go back to. You want to fix it one time and be done with it. So I would strongly recommend no less than this. And I'll go back here in a minute and show you how these are used, how easy they are. But first I wanted to show you the Cadillac version that is out there right now. And it's the same, basically combining the crimp and seal and the old solder ring. And as you can tell, there's a solder ring in the middle, and then you're able to crimp one side, so you don't need 3 hands once again to do your job. Crimp it, get your other wire fed through wherever you have to get it through, get it stuck in there on this side, crimp it, and then, a lot of times finish your wiring job. A lot of times people just finish your job, make sure you got a good circuit, that your trailer lights, for example, are coming on. And then once all that is good and you're content that you got a good connection all the way throughout, then go back and heat seal it. And once again, I'll show you how this is done too, how easy it is in a minute. So these are definitely the 2 I would recommend when it comes to splicing wire together. But I recommend to my customers not to waste your money on heat seal ends. I have customers that buy them and they like them, and to me, a traditional nylon, once again, the clearer the plastic, the better they are. If you're going to have problems with this, it's on the end. You're going to be able to fix it easily, and you'll save a lot of money. But if you're in the middle somewhere making a splice, you want a good connection. So I would stay away from just the traditional nylon ones. So with that said, let me show you how this works. I went ahead and had that all ready to go. We'll crimp it real quick. Once again, pull on it, finish your wiring job, make sure you got a good connection. Once you do, just this heats up, goes around your wire. You can use a torch too. Torches are nice, especially in tighter confined areas, and you don't obviously have electrical supply. But that's how it looks when it's, and once again, that's strong. That's a very strong connection. You can see the bead, I'm sure, of the glue coming out. Very watertight, good connection. So I did not have this one quite ready, so let me spool. All right. So here's the same concept. Now, this one here is not as good a vinyl as this one here, but for price reasons, because this one you really take a jump up in the price when you go to this. So I'm okay with not having the best quality of the actual shrink tube. So there you go. You crimp that. Make sure you got a good pull on it. Then you finish your job. Make sure you got a good circuit all the way through. Come back to it. One nice thing about this there is this was going to be extra strong. You're going to have a really good connection, because when you push these in, your copper's hitting on both sides, so your solder's going to go right around there. Really strong connection. These you want to focus your heat toward the center first and get that solder to melt. It's a low temperature solder, so it usually melts relatively quick. And once you'll see it just kind of ooze in there. And then once that's done, just work your way to the sides. And once again, even though the actual heat shrink tubing plastic to me wasn't as good as quality as this other one, there's not as much glue bead sticking out at the end, because that's one of the difference in the quality. But being that you got a solder ring in there, it's extra strong, and there's plenty of water protection going on there. Very, very, very good connection there. So Crimp and Seal is what I strongly recommend. It's the best bang for your buck. Solder, Crimp and Seal would be the ultimate choice, but I mean, these things are going for, I've seen them from my competitors as high as $2 a piece. I've seen some cheaper versions on the internet. Once again, I always say, you know, there's companies like myself that are out there for a reason. Buy local, buy off of some place where you can go back in and complain about it, get some things taken care of. The internet, you're kind of stuck out there, not really knowing what you're getting. So hope this video helps you out, and I'll be back with some more cool stuff in the future. Please subscribe. I'll keep them coming. Thank you. Bye.